Hello, everyone. My name is Janice. Welcome to Sangha Live and another daily meditation with Caverly Morgan. Caverly Morgan is a meditation teacher. She's been teaching for over 2 decades. She's a nonprofit leader who founded the nonprofit Peace in Schools, based in Portland, Oregon, that works with teens and adults. And also, she's the creator of Presence Collective, a growing community of practitioners and teachers offering practice into the world. So glad to be back with her today. I will have just a couple of announcements before I bring her on. I wanted to highlight a member of Presence Collective. Michelle Cassandra Johnson is offering a live webinar this Thursday, 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. It's on a donation basis. And Michelle is incredible. The Peace in School staff is actually in a year-long race and resilience training with Michelle as we speak. And she's a social justice warrior, an author, a yoga teacher, a healer. And the webinar is focused on just presence this Thursday. So I'll drop a link in there. Please do check out her amazing work. And then the only other things to mention before I bring Caverly on, as always, thank you for being here and thank you for your support. Thank you to those who have generously donated in the past. And if you're able to, I invite you to donate again now or for the first time. Sangha Live is here, this platform, all the people working in the background, the teachers are here through your support, the practice of Dana. So there's a green button below me. If you're able to share, to support in that way, it's greatly appreciated. And you can say hello in the sidebar, sharing where you're from. This is a wide global community. And then lastly, just the format for anyone who's new. I'll bring Caverly on. She'll lead about a 30-minute meditation. And then she loves to have dialogue with people, questions, a chance to share your experience. And you can come on screen with her. If you'd like to do that, you can just ask me in the sidebar when that time comes. Or you can type in a question if you'd rather do it that way. All right, so thank you for being here, and I'm going to bring on Caverly.
Janice, thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. Welcome back. All right, friends, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. So glad to be back with you. I hope you had a good weekend. Thank you, John and Nancy, for acknowledging gratitude for Dr. Sarah King's teaching on Friday. If you're showing up today and you missed Dr. King's teaching on Friday, please go. I imagine it's up at Sangha Live now, so please do go check it out. Maybe you could check, Janice, and see whether it's that recording is up yet. It was I thought a very profound and special teaching honoring Juneteenth. So thank you for those who came. And again, if you missed it, I hope you'll check it out. I'm so glad to be back here with you. It feels like it's been a little while to me, even though I was in the background on Friday, receiving from Dr. King's teachings as well. As Janice just mentioned, Michelle Cassandra Johnson is coming up, and I thank you for posting that link, Janice. So there's the link to Michelle's teaching on Thursday. A friend, colleague, another really powerful Black woman teaching during this time. Excited to share her teachings with you. I brought you some fresh flowers today. Our garden our garden's thriving right now, and it's a nice reminder that in all of the upheaval that's happening, flowers are blooming Plants are thriving. Michelle Cassandra Johnson, actually, just this morning, I saw her post on Instagram about her honeybee hive and acknowledging the way the bees are taking care of each other right now. It's quite beautiful. So, friends, I'd love to hear what's thriving in your life and what's not. What's alive in your practice and in your heart. Please go ahead, and thank you again for saying hello in the sidebar, but please now take a moment to let me know a little bit more. What's alive for you? What perhaps have you been practicing with over the weekend, present to? What are you present to now? I'm just going to close my mail browser out while I wait to hear from you so that you're not listening to my emails coming in. Thank you, Janice, for posting that link. So there you are, friends. That's the link to Friday's session. What are you present to in this moment? A word or a phrase? What's here now? Good morning, Kiki, and thank you, Andrea, for saying that it's there. Hi from Argentina, Patricia. Steve, you're present to nature in this moment. Thank you. Yes, me too. Me too. Jonathan, hi from Amsterdam. Oh, I'm sorry. Amersfoort, Netherlands. Thank you. Joyce, enjoying the start of summer, the progress of the garden, tending to needs. Thank you. Yeah, nice time to acknowledge this shifting in seasons as well. The light. Feeling nostalgic, Kiki. Missing my dad, who's been on my mind even more because of Father's Day. Thank you, Kiki. Thank you. Thanks for bringing that into this space. Well, let's sit together, friends. Settle in the way that will be best for you. And Erica, thank you for acknowledging that you're feeling energized and ready for a new day. So come into the position that will work best for you. I come in this morning with just a very short quote and then the openness to whatever's here. So if there's anything else you'd like to put in the sidebar or in the question box now, please do as I ring the bell, so I can have more of a sense of where you are. Thank you, Sandy. Feeling as if public and private selves are very separate animals. Different aspects of the personality. Yeah, thank you. Beginning by taking 3 of the longest and deepest inhalations and exhalations you've taken yet today. A book that we haven't talked about much in this setting is Shunryu Suzuki's Zen Mind, Beginner's Mind. A quote that stands out to me from that book that I wanted to share with you this morning is simple. In the beginner's mind, there are many possibilities. And in the expert's mind, there are few. In the beginner's mind, there are many possibilities. And in the expert's mind, there are few. As you breathe and settle into your experience of being here now, notice any place in which you habitually think of yourself as an expert. And with gentle curiosity, notice whether in that arena possibility has narrowed. It likely hasn't felt like a narrowing of possibility. It's just felt like, well, this is the way I do this. And let your view of expert be a broad brushstroke. So it could be, I'm an expert in how we do things in our home, in our family structure, right? This doesn't necessarily mean expert from the sense that the entire society would reflect to you. I'm the expert when deciding what the family needs, or what else? Look to see how you'd use that term expert in a broad brushstroke way in your own life. Again, another way you can find it is to look to see where are the places that this is just how we do it, or I do it. We're bringing in new leadership through Peace in Schools soon. And it requires the whole leadership team to recognize, well, this is how we've done it, but it might not be how we do it moving forward, with so many different categories in so many different arenas. Now give your attention to a place in your life that you recognize yourself as a beginner. And if you can't find a place, my greatest encouragement is that you hop off this call today and take it on as a homework assignment to create a place in your life in which you experience yourself as a beginner, a concrete physical plane place, like I'm going to learn Spanish, whatever. That's a big one. It might be smaller, less commitment than that, but some place where you can have that experience of, I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm learning. I know I don't know what I'm doing. So touching that, the freshness of Zen mind, beginner's mind. Knowing the emptiness of I don't know mind. Freeing yourself from the answers. Gift yourself with the questions. Touch the possibility that's there when we recognize, I don't know. Notice that for many of us, our conditioned tendency when we rest in I don't know mind is to move into some kind of resistance. It's not okay that I don't know. I have to know. I need to know. What's the right answer? We then push or strive, strain. embrace, I don't know. Welcome, I don't know. You can feel the limited, constricted identity in, but I need the right answer. I have to know. What is the right answer? I have to work at this. I need to judge myself to see, do I have the right answer? Is this not the right answer? All of that conditioning leads to, manifests, maintains suffering. Simply notice the impulse to know. From presence, from not hooking in and riding with that impulse. Don't allow that aspect of the personality to have the keys to the car. Notice. And return to, I don't know. Allow yourself to feel the relief in, I don't know. Rest in, I don't know. The freedom of I don't know is the freedom from identity. From the pretend game that I am a separate self. Who knows? And then acts. As you watch the mind try to do, understand, fix, change, noodle, keep returning to I don't know. It's ever present. Allow I don't know mind to come to the forefront of your experience rather than remain hidden in the shadows of your experience. Again and again returning. Remembering. I don't know. Friends, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for your presence and your practice. This non-practice of resting in what's always here. I don't know, mind. Please donate. You all know that this is my moment in which Sangha Live asks me to give a reminder that we can't exist without support. Now, what shall we discuss today? Richard, I'm comfortable with I don't know, but I question how karma plays a role in what's happening with the discourse of the world today, both individually and collectively as all society. If it does, can we change it? Spencer, thank you for the moments of I don't know meant. Yes, you're welcome. Richard, would you be up for coming on screen? No requirement to. But if you're set up to do that, it'd be great to hear a little bit more about what you're looking at. Perhaps you can just let us know in the sidebar if that's an option for you today. And then Janice could bring you on. All right. Maybe that's, oh, here we go. Great. All right. Well, hello. Good morning or good afternoon.
It's morning, East Coast.
Great.
There was a wonderful meditation, and but it's something that I've given thought to recently. Is the karmic effect? I just lost your picture. I'm not sure why.
I can hear you.
Okay, the karmic effect of change, both individually and now with the tremendous changes in our world with the virus and the civil unrest, the discourse of discrimination, and we're going through such a magnitude and change of time, and I just it's a curiosity thing. I accept it, but I'm wondering if karma plays a role in this, and if it'll end up being better for it, both individually and as a society. So that's why I thought I'd pose the question.
Yeah, thank you. I think this happened the last time we were chatting, Richard, but there's a very good echo on my voice. Do you happen to have two browsers open?
I think my computer, there we go. Now I've got your picture again.
So do you know if you have two browsers open, Richard?
No, I definitely don't.
Okay.
It's just the one. It just blimped off, but it looks to be working fine at this point.
Okay. For some reason, there's a very significant echo on my voice. Is that not true for you?
it's broken a little bit. It's just an old computer.
Okay.
I need to,
No
I
problem.
need to upgrade my computer. It's just an old computer.
Well, thank you for calling in, and I'll address your question, but it won't be possible to address it with this much echo. Yeah, thank you, Janice, for releasing that connection. So Richard, thank you for calling in. I'm really sorry that there's this echo issue, specifically because a lot of the way that I would respond depends on how you're talking about karma. Karma is a word that is so widely used and thrown around, and it's talked about in very, very different ways. So I'll read your question again and then move into what arises as I do. You're comfortable with I don't know, but the question is how karma plays a role in what's happening with the discourse of the world today, both individually and collectively as a society. If it does, how do we change it? So one thing I can say, Richard, is many people describe karma in a way that makes it, the way it relates to today's theme anyway, that makes it seem as though stating that something is karmic equates there's no possibility there. Oh, this is just the karma of the world to do X, Y, or Z, and that means there's no possibility. In relationship to today's meditation, it would be very helpful to explore what would it look like if I stepped into as a practice, I don't know mind, and if collectively we stepped into I don't know mind with everything that's arising in the world. For example, look how quick we are to find narratives about, let's just say the coronavirus, quick to latch on to a belief so that we can then know and then move forward. But if we stayed in I don't know mind, there would be much more possibility. There's no karmic imperative that we all cling to one belief or view. We'd all be freed by our shared capacity to rest in I don't know mind. We'd all be freed by coming back to center in that way. Even the conditioned view of what karma means cuts off possibility. It's true, we're in a time of great global opening, a real shift in consciousness, an opening for the evolution of human consciousness. But we'll be most likely to access that possibility if we collectively can stay in I don't know mind together rather than grasp onto the new belief system, which will then implement and will then cut off possibility. Specifically, a new belief system to make a connection here in practice regarding the way in which a new belief system brings into being right, wrong, good, bad, this, that, the mind of duality. So allowing this I don't know mind to be another way to speak about the truth of the non-dual. What shifts in our world if we move through all these question marks of our time from that recognition of not two? As Suzuki says, not one, not two. This non-dual, undivided consciousness. What shifts when we're moving from there, rather than the next place that our conditioned mind can clamp down onto? Thank you, Richard. Sorry the tech didn't support that exchange more fully, but I do appreciate you coming on. Okay, John and Lisa, you're chatting about meditation class somewhere else. Yes, thank you, John. I appreciate your recognition about that. Perhaps you all can connect offline. Joyce, John, you're welcome to post something about your group, but thank you for acknowledging that it does get tricky if we use this sidebar as a place where everyone's advertising various offerings, because there are many, many people on this call, and so many of you have wonderful offerings, whether it be meditation or yoga practice. So I think it would be best if we not use the sidebar for announcing our other offerings. But I would like the community to be able to support each other. Perhaps we could, when I go off screen at the end of the session, and then we're not trying to juggle people's announcements with sincere questions about practice, we could have folks exchange in those moments when we go off screen. Thank you. Joyce, yes, please do come on screen. It would be lovely to see you. And Ellen, thank you for acknowledging. How do we create a foundation? And I don't know. Very good question. Let's see if Joyce comes on, and then I'd like to address that question as well. Very good question. And thank you, Sandy. Or Kiki, I see that you have something in the question box too. Hi, Joyce.
Hi, how are you?
Good morning.
So I have a problem with the I don't know mind. Some of it is easy. If I think about things like carpentry, it's really easy for me. But as you know, I'm a biologist and a scientist, and it's all about knowing, and it's all about figuring out, and why does this happen? How does this happen? So how do I reconcile that with the I don't know mind?
Yeah,
it's resistance around not knowing.
I'm so glad that you are calling in with this specific example, Joyce, because we all have examples like that, right? Like it's so useful in this. I love one of my favorite things about Zen is the way in which it holds paradox. Mm-hmm. So yes, on one realm of reality, you can even prove things scientifically and express a certain kind of knowing. What's useful about this practice to me is that we recognize the limitations even of that kind of knowing. For example, if I'm walking through the woods and my attention is on knowing what each kind of bird is singing, so all my attention's on the facts of each kind of bird, and then my attention's on all the details about the various species. You've probably had that experience, even with birds. No. And can you feel the difference between that experience and then moving into a forest and just being the experience of, just for shorthand right now, just experiencing yourself as not separate from everything around you, not being in that specific state of mind which knows everything about the forest. How would you describe the differences between those two experiences?
The second, and I've done both. The second is much more expansive and freeing, and as you said, connecting. I typically do kind of do both, I think, when I'm in a forest. But yeah, it's just hard to get over the I want to know.
Yes, and one of my very favorite things about practice is knowing that we can simply approach all of it with inquiry.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mhm.
as that mind arises, can I simply notice whether that leads towards suffering or away from suffering? We can feel it when we move into that mind of knowing, the conditioned knowing that equates possibility is closed off, because
Right.
here's what I know, and now look how quick of a slide it is to now here's the right answer. And then people that don't know this or don't have this right answer are wrong, and I need to have this judgment in relation. Can you feel the identity in all of that?
Yeah. Yeah. I can see where it's a slippery slope or whatever you want.
So just allowing all, and this actually points to Ellen's question too, allowing all of this to be practice. Ellen said, how do we create a foundation in I don't know? And she appreciated your sharing, Joyce.
And I think you had a question in the question too that was similar.
Oh, good. Okay, I'll read that one when we're done. But Joyce, yes, it's so helpful when we can rest in this experience of noticing, a resting in the noticing, not a hypervigilance, not a tension in it, but just a resting in the observation of when we move into the knowing that is filled with identity, that is coming from a place of identification.
Right.
You know, that's really different, for example, from the knowing of our experience. You're knowing the sound of my voice right now. You're knowing your own breath. All experience is actually known through a specific kind of knowing. Perhaps in this session, one of the most important things to clarify before we hop off our time together today is the difference between knowing through the lens of the conditioned mind and the knowing of pure consciousness. Those are two very different knowings. So just watching that movement, watching that expression of knowing and seeing the difference.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because it's not to say, oh, I don't know mine would be the same as, therefore we can never be in the conversation about anything because, well, we don't know, we can't know that we both call that a sparrow. Right? It's important to honor the different realms of experience in which we're speaking about.
Yeah.
And most importantly, I think at the heart of your question, Joyce, to know the difference between the knowing that comes through identification with the conditioned mind and the knowing of pure consciousness. That's not a duality, but for the purposes of today, it's helpful to make that distinction and clarification.
Yeah, that helps.
Because even the knowing of our identification, we know from pure consciousness. So it's actually not two, but for today, it makes sense to speak about it that way.
Yeah.
Joyce, I'm so glad you called in. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And let's see if I can read Kiki's question right before we hop off here. Okay. Kiki, I'm so used to being expected to always know the answers, both professionally and in my personal life. That is, that this I don't know meditation was a very unique experience for me. Can you elaborate more about the value of this? I think you mentioned something about disidentification. Kiki, thank you. Yes, Joyce, you're right. There's a lot in what we just talked about that's also in Kiki's question. It sounds like this would be a rich place for us to explore again tomorrow, friends. Oh, good. Ellen, you'd love if we could explore more of this. John and Nancy, I'm not sure that the I don't know mind doesn't lead to knowing. But then if you allow again to return to I don't know, there's more opening and learning, seeing again. Thank you, John. Yes. Great. Friends, thank you. Perfect timing. Perfect end note for now. Practice. Good, Sharon, you'd like to explore this more tomorrow too. Practice really allowing this to be an alive place of inquiry for you today, so that when we come back tomorrow, you've looked in your own experience. When am I resting in I don't know mind? When do I feel this pull towards I am the identity that knows? Again, tomorrow, I think what we'll explore is this distinction between the knowing of consciousness and the apparent knowing of the conditioned mind. So, friends, thank you. Please explore this in your direct experience today so that you come in tomorrow with some questions and some observations and some further inquiry so that we may deepen our shared practice together. Thank you, friends, so much. Thank you for your practice. See you tomorrow.